Moresby South MP goes ahead with plans to evict troublemakers. Displaced Eastern Highlands Community appeal for relief supplies. And oil palm growers call for review of OPIC Act.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayre.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Monday's news. Our main stories later in the bulletin, but first, member for Moresby South, Justin Tichenko, said yesterday at a media conference that evicting criminals, especially those from the district of Goilala in the central province, will happen. He says this was the last option after life-threatening injuries were suffered by residents inflicted by criminals from Goilala.
All right.
Member for Moresby South, Justin Tichenko, yesterday openly condemned the actions of one particular ethnic group, causing a lot of problems in the Moresby South electorate.
A major contributor to criminal activity and events that are causing problems in our electorate are done by one ethnic group. We don't need these people here. Why do our women and children are always in fear of walking down the street now, or thinking that their bags are going to be snatched at the Koki bus stop, or they're going to be stabbed? You know, every week we're having the same incidents come up, and we always have, it's a Goilala.
Tichenko said the community was living in fear of the Goilalas, and just last week few victims almost lost their lives.
A husband and wife Nipa family. The husband had his skull and head cut open. The wife had a leg chopped, arm chopped by them as well in the early hours of the morning at Varavara. Eastern Highlander, Jimmy, he had his neck nearly cut off.
Tichenko added that criminal elements causing these problems are vagrants moving in and out of the city.
A lot of these people are vagrants, meaning they're coming in and out of the city all the time. They're not permanently based here. And we know where they live, but half the time they're not there.
Tichenko says that warning notices have been given to the Goilalas in the troublesome areas of Moresby South.
So we've already issued areas warning notices, which are 2 Mile Hill, which is notorious for hold-ups nearly every week, bag snatching every week, problem areas, Rabia Guinea, Vada and Sabama. The communities of Goilala communities in 6 Mile, Saraga, Talai, Gorobi, and some other areas, they're fine. There's no issues.
Well, there are some genuine law-abiding Goilalas in the city. Those identified by police will be the ones evicted.
The police will assist us in identifying who's harbouring criminals. We already know a lot of these families and people that are harbouring criminals. We can then arrest those necessary for harbouring criminals, but also evict them and remove them from the communities for harbouring those criminals.
Proper process of eviction will also be used to remove them.
The proper processes are done in place to remove people off state land, road reserves and others that are causing problems for the communities.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV News.
Northern mobile units deployed in Kainantu are negotiating for a ceasefire agreement to be signed between two tribal clans. More than 400 houses were torched and food gardens destroyed in Kainantu when two groups clashed in February this year. The fighting escalated due to a land dispute over a location for alluvial mining.
Police reached out to the communities and went into the fighting zone, and with constant communication worked to deter them from fighting.
Mipla kamantap long assist him local police lo Kainantu lo containing the situation. Lo peace process kamantap police mipla achieve him August something stuff inside this la operation where Operation Bloodbath Kainantu 2021 mipla achieve him finish kamantap la peace process on behalf of police, office of police assistant commissioner, me thank you to the tribal leaders, Apollos, na BOE, want them all get Agrabi leaders, na the Tabo leaders, lo harem Tok lo police, put him down, lay him down arms. Na come forward lo peace negotiation table lo mi lo bring peace inside lo kainan tu.
Local MP Johnson Tuke and individuals, including a good and order committee, were set up to address and chair the meeting between the two clans.
Lo next 1 week, lo li draft him up this peace and ceasefire agreement lo both tribes agarabi na tapo lo sign him. Now we can look forward lo wave lo rehabilitation, restoration, reconciliation process lo bianim lo phase 2 lo dis la kainan tu ethnic warfare.
This week, the two factions held a meeting in Kainantu to discuss ways forward in order to allow for normalcy in the township.
Got plenty displaced, more than 5,000 plus people already displaced na stop yet. Some of the school all been passed. Time police presence, foreign troops. People can stop. All school only reopen. Agarabi, Konkua, Ayamo, Tenu, only open, only come back and restoration, all business houses, only come back and pick up for the last 2 months, only pick up operation finish.
Martha Louise, National MTV News.
The Papua New Guinea Civil and Identity Registration Office in Alotau, Milne Bay Province reopened today. Registrar General Noel Mobiha visited the office over the weekend to supervise maintenance work and meet the staff before opening. The NID office was closed for 3 weeks after being vandalized and mobile registration kits stolen.
This is the small NID office in Alotau town. It is situated at the back of the Milne Bay Provincial Government headquarters premises. The office was shut for 3 weeks after some men broke in and stole mobile NID register kits.
We lost property worth probably just under 150,000 kina, and damage to the building is probably another 10,000 to that, so about 160,000 all up.
Mr. Noel Mobiha was personally in Alotau to see to the office's maintenance and reopening. He also took time to spend with his 11 officers in Alotau. The officers turned up at work over the weekend to clean and tidy the office.
The impact to the public is that they don't have a place to collect their identity, NID documentation, which includes the birth certificate for those up to 18 years of age, and anybody 18 and above gets a birth certificate and NID. So we thought it was appropriate that we come back and we reopen the office with a lot more security, modification to the original design of the office to ensure that it's not going to be broken into again.
Mr. Mobia appealed to the people of Milne Bay to respect such government facilities that is there to help the people. With the mobile register kit stolen and now in police custody for court exhibit, NID registration will now take place only in town.
We developed a solution in terms of upgrading the kit we have with a new kit, that basically registration kit that works with the Huawei civil registration system. So we're basically going back to that. So the responsibility on the well-being and care and security of the operations is also a function of the people. So the people should show some interest in making sure that services are not impacted.
Mobia is proud of the officers in Milne Bay Province who, since starting work 4 months ago, have so far registered 14,000 people compared to previous statistics where only 7,000 people were registered for the whole year. Apart from Alotau reopening its NID office, Popondetta NID office was also reopened following an arson 2 years ago.
My plea to the public is, if we government puts in a service to provide for the benefit of the people, please look after it.
Shamin Poreambeb, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues with more after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. Village oil palm growers in Moresby Province are calling on the government to fast-track the review of the Oil Palm Industries Corporation Act. The call was made to the Agriculture Minister, John Simon, when he met with the village oil palm growers recently in Alotau.
Oil palm growers in Moresby Province are calling on the government to fast-track the review of the Oil Palm Industries Corporation Act. The call made to the Agriculture Minister, John Simon, during his visit to Moresby Province. According to the Moresby Oil Palm Growers Association, the pricing formula needs to be relooked.
With a 43-57 ratio, we find out that after deduction, we only end up with 30% of what we are supposed to get.
Stewart also claims smallholder farmers or village oil palm growers are suppressed by the Roundtable Sustainable Palm Oil, an international body that has 4,000 members worldwide that sets the standards for sustainable palm oil.
Also, we have been suppressed by the Roundtable Sustainable Palm Oil, an international law that stops us from growing new blocks of oil palm. And that, it will suppress us because most of the population is increasing. We have enough land, like you have mentioned today, yet the milling company is not willing to help us extend our block or bring in our children also to participate.
He called on the Agriculture Minister to fast-track the review of the Palm Oil Industries Corporation Act, as he believes the amendments will address some of these concerns.
In the review of the Oil Palm Act, this will answer a lot of these problems. And our only asking from people now, Minister, is that if the review and the amendment be fast-tracked.
The Oil Palm Industry Corporation is responsible for providing extension services to smallholders, outgrowers and settlers within the precincts of nuclear estates of oil palm growing provinces. OPIC's key role is to provide efficient delivery programs and develop market infrastructure for its smallholders and outgrowers. Agriculture Minister John Simon agrees that current pricing for oil palm is unfair and hopes the review and changes to the Act will be ready to present to Parliament in August when Parliament sits.
Now your benefit is less than 30% in terms of pricing than what you get. And to me, why should you get that? Ground blow. That's your ground blow. You providing the labor. You are doing all the hard work. You should be paid more than that. But the Act is in a way that's it's not in favor of us. So we are working on reviewing the Act. As soon as that is done, then I can assure you, it is one of our this government's vision and our vision to make sure that maximum benefit come Lomibla. You see, the landowners or the farmers, we should get more benefits.
In Moresby Province, from a population of 300,000 people, only about 800 are involved in the oil palm industry as village oil palm growers. The minister says there is potential to increase that number, challenging the OPIC office in Moresby to increase the numbers. Shamit Poriambeb, National EMTV News.
A new partnership between PNG Chamber of Mines and Petroleum and Rotary Club Australia will see the distribution of medical and education supplies within PNG. This partnership through Rotary Australia's World Community Services Program, medical and education supplies collected by the club in Australia will be shipped to PNG. Since its commencement nearly 30 years ago, Rotary has shipped close to 700 containers to PNG worth over 58 million Australian dollars. This included school desks, books and cartons of medical supplies. The Chamber is seeking further support from its members to donate money towards the shipment of these supplies into the country. Rex Kiponge, the acting managing director for the National Airports Corporation, has refuted statements made by the chairman of the Independent Commission Against Corruption. Thomas Elu, the chairman of the task force, was directed by the Prime Minister to investigate operations of NAC in March this year.
In a media conference today, National Airports Corporation Acting Managing Director Rex Kiponge refuted the statements made by Thomas Elu, the chairman of the Independent Commission Against Corruption. Elu is heading the task force set up to probe the affairs of the National Airports Corporation. This follows an incident at the Port Moresby International where two security companies clashed over their contract with NAC. The task force chairman recently spoke out on radio and was reported in one of the dailies explaining the recommendations of the investigations. Chief among them is the dissolution of its board. This has been refuted by the NAC acting managing director.
If this is the case, then how has the investigation derailed to reporting the findings? NAC recording a high turnover of CEOs and MDs with 6 in space of 10 years since 2010. Attempts by the Attorney General's Office to audit NAC has not been successful. Business records have been tampered or destroyed. He continued on to say, shareholders' binding resolution dated the 19th and the 24th of February 2024 had directed the NAC board to rescind Mr. Ephraim Wassam's appointment and reinstate myself as the acting general manager commercial and then appointed me as the acting managing director. He further went on to allege that my appointment was allegedly suspended or terminated office in the organization, causing a state of confusion and apprehension among employees. This is all lie. It's a total lie.
The NAC boss also denied knowledge of the investigations into the operations of the National Airports Corporation.
I must put it on record. There was no investigation done by HICAC, Mr. Thomas Elu, and his team in NAC to this date. Therefore, it is surprisingly astonished in how such a report was derived by HICAC. No formal notification was given to NAC.
Podivai, National MTV News.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. An overwhelming number of teams are participating in the men's division of the EGP Netball tournament, which started on Saturday. The netball tournament in Hula Village has both women and men's divisions, and more men are being encouraged to participate. While netball has always been a women's sport, a great skill and performance were displayed by men on the courts.
With the netball tournament in its third year, the initiative has been a pathway for local and upcoming talents. Though it's not a PNG Netball Federation sanctioned competition, the avenue has provided positive results with the inclusion of players in various divisions getting a chance to showcase their potential.
We're providing an avenue. We are expecting the PNG Netball Federation officials to be here. This is not a sanctioned Netball Federation event, but we're showcasing village talent, rural talent, and young girls that are playing under 15 and under 18 who could be our next PNG Peppers. In the men's netball, we are also in contention for the first ever men's netball World Cup, which I'm a part of as a coach as well. Great avenue that we've provided here, the EGP Cup, to showcase these talents.
This year, the tournament got interesting with the inclusion of men's and mixed netball. Morea Sina, a happy participant, says the tournament is also used to address social issues.
I'm very happy to play this tournament, EGP tournament, because I just want to help the community where the new players coming up, especially the men, because we have discrimination, stigma and discrimination through the men, which is we have GBV. So we are trying to do awareness through this kind of tournament. So I'm very privileged because I am one of the PNG rep. So as a PNG rep, I have to show my good example to the community or the villages.
Since day one, the competition in the men's and mixed division has been tough, with teams using their physical strength and natural ability to put on an exciting tournament. Games coordinator Lawrence Lowry says the participation of men playing netball should be appreciated, as the players have the chance to play at national level.
We talk about, women breaking into men's sport. Well, men's breaking into women's sport too. We gotta look at it on that way as well. And you've seen it. We've got men who are very talented that can leap and jump, and there's the men's and there's also mixed netball as well. And we're part of this new look netballers that want to be able to showcase our netball on the world stage.
Although netball is a female-dominated sport, participants in the EGP netball tournament encourage the men to take part.
We started PNG Mixed and Men's Netball in 2014, and then maybe it's 6 years now. I encourage more men to participate in these sports.
Thank you to all our supporters that have been here for us and for the courage and strength that gave us to play the game today.
Suli Trukai Sports.
The SPPNG Hunters were over the weekend victims of the Devils' brilliance, with the team suffering their 6th straight loss, this time to the North Devils, 38 points to 22. The team sits 11th on the ladder.
Round 10 of the Intra Super Cup saw the SPPNG Hunters take on second-placed North Devils. The Devils opened the scoring in the 3rd minute with a try by Tony Tamusa. 4 minutes later and the Devils were in again, this time taking a 12-0 lead. But the Hunters scored next with a solo one length of the field try.
Little kick and chases. Coming through a herd. Eva was there for the Hunters and passes his in-goal area and gets it away here to Wane, who's still going. Solo Wane. Has he got the speed? He draws clear. Oh, have a look at him go. Solo Wane. Shut the gates. He's over.
But the Devils came back, scoring 2 tries to extend their lead to 20 points to 6.
Got plenty of time. Oh, Broadhurst.
But the Hunters weren't done yet. They fought back, with Benji Cott and Jokedi Bire both scoring before half-time. The 2 tries taking the scores to 20 points to 16 at half-time. The Hunters were down by 4 points at half-time, but the second half saw the team slacking off, allowing the Devils to come through, running in 4 consecutive tries before the Hunters had Kevin Apo put the only try in the second half in the 79th minute. The Hunters losing their 6th game in a row, sitting on 11th on the ladder. Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. There were the details coming up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Partly cloudy, then possible inland morning fog patches in Port Moresby. Mostly fine in Daru, Keraman, Popondetta, and showers in Alotau. In the Mamase region, mostly fine and we were partly cloudy and partly cloudy with in Vanimo. In the region, partly cloudy with a chance of rain and Buka, cloudy with a Kopo and Rabaul shower, and a few showers tonight, then morning fog in Mount Hagen, Mendi and Wabe. Forecast for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Islands and Kerama to Yule Island to Hood Point and Samarai Islands, with waters of Samarai Islands to Cape Fogo and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, including waters north of Long Island to Medang and Wewak to Aitape and to Vanimo, and northern PNG Indonesian border with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas of 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf and Finschhafen, seas of 0.5 to 1 meter. Waters of Finschhafen through Vitiaz and Dampier Straits to Siasi and Long Island, seas of 1.5 to 2.5 meters. And waters of New Ireland to New Britain and Bougainville, seas of 1 to 2 meters. A look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas in the Coral Sea. Seas moderate to rather rough with east to southeasterly winds at 15 to 24 knots. In the Solomon Sea, seas slight to moderate with east to southeast winds at 10 to 20 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas slight to moderate with southeasterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas moderate with southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Monday the 14th of June 2021. From all of us here at MTV, pleasant viewing. Have a good night.